The eyes. And just taking a nice breath in, a nice breath out. Enjoying the essence of the morning. And simply recognizing that this morning is full. It is absolutely perfect as it is. It lacks nothing whatsoever. It is exactly as it is meant to be. And allow your heart to rest into that knowledge, that wisdom of absolute divine fullness, absolute divine perfection. And then just recognize yourself as both a physical being and a spiritual being, existing this morning in the midst of this fullness as part of this fullness. But that you have this gift to be aware and to choose actively to see the fullness or to turn away from it. In this moment, see the fullness. Breathe it in and breathe it out and be one with it. And with the celebration in your heart, together we'll lift our voices in one beautiful Om. Take a nice breath in. Om. And bowing your head to your heart, thankful for all that is. And draw the face back to center. Release the hands, flutter the eyes open. And I'd like to read something to you. I'm certain you've all heard it before. It's a simple little song, and there's so many messages within it. Come, they told me, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, to lay before the king, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum, so to honor him, pa-rum-pa-pum-pum, when we come. And it's such a beautiful song, something that we look at and we say, simple children's Christmas song. You know. But actually, it's a reminder to us in the most simplistic language of what every holy day, every day can embrace and be for us. The song starts off with, come. It means join in. It means be part of the celebration. Be aware. Be present to it. Come. Show up. Not at a destination like a location, but in your own life, in your moment, in the space that your body occupies. Show up and be absolutely present to all that's happening. Take joy in the beautiful sunrise and joy in the beautiful sunsets. And recognize that life is full as it is. As it is. Just come. Be present in your life. And that's the first key to a stress-free holiday, is to just show up and to recognize it for what it is. The word holiday is actually holy day. And there are holy days throughout the year. Every day is a holy day, because every day is a miracle. And how often do we just come, just show up, aware and very, very present to everything that is happening in the moment? And certainly there are things that are uncomfortable, and there are things that are hard, and there are things that are challenging, and there are things we don't want to do. But just the willingness to be present anyway gives our hearts the ability to heal, and gives our mind the ability to be more free of stress. Perhaps not completely free, but more free of stress. And around this time of the year, we need that because, these holy days have become very commercialized. Where do they want you to show up? They don't want you to show up in your life. The advertisements want you to show up at the store. They're like, come over here, buy this, buy that, And in showing up at the store and wondering what the appropriate amount of money to spend on a gift is, we absolutely forget that the ultimate showing up is right here in this very simple children's song. Come. Just be present. There's a beautiful story in yoga of a beggar. Very, very, very poor individual. He owned nothing, had nothing but the clothes on his back, and they were very tattered and torn. And he loved Shiva. So he would go to the Shiva temple and he would sit outside because he didn't feel that he had what it took to go inside. He wasn't fancy like the other, devotees. He didn't have a lot of money. He didn't have any money. He didn't have anything to bring. He had nothing to bring. This will start sounding real familiar in a moment, right? He had nothing to bring. But he would go and sit at the steps outside of the temple where all of the fancy dressed, individuals going into the temple would look at him and they would be snarky with him and make comments to him about, get out of the way, you beggar, you lowly individual, don't block our entrance to the temple, And they thought they were so full of themselves because they knew all the words. They knew all the words and they could make all the donations and they could do all these things. And in spite of being ridiculed, this person shows up. And so this very holy day, Shivaratri comes along. It's kind of like Christmas for Shiva, It's Shiva's appearance day. So Shivaratri comes and this person is just so devoted to Shiva. He says, I don't have anything to bring you. I don't have anything to give you. They're all chanting so beautifully. They know all the special phrases and words. All I really know is the Sanskrit alphabet. So I'll just chant that for you. And he started chanting the alphabet. And as he started chanting, his eyes filled with tears. And his heart just became so big. So Shiva comes down, appears right in front of him. And he says, you're an inspiration. In this moment right now, I bestow the gift of enlightenment upon you. And he gave him samadhi. The people in the temple heard what was going on and came out and they were really angry. How can you give a lowly beggar enlightenment? How can you awaken him? When we're here, look at our garments. We know all the words. We make all the donations. How can you favor a lowly being like that? And Shiva said very simply, he didn't come with money and he didn't come with fancy clothes. He came with his heart only and gave me everything he had. Not one of you could do that. Just come. Put down the fear, put down whatever it is that you're carrying on the shoulders and just show up with love in your heart and compassion as your guide. A newborn king to see. Are we talking about a royal king? Are we talking about a religious king? Are we talking about, somebody who is above us, beyond us? No, we're talking about love. There's a new love in this very moment to be seen. A new love in every moment. And when we open our eyes to seeing that love is present, as we're arriving, when we arrive, and as we depart, then we have seen the truth. But, what happens is, the holidays come, and what do we see? we don't see the love, we see the sale. You know, we don't see the love so much as we see the expectation, the fear about whether what we buy for someone else is good enough, or is it good enough if we bring cookies, or are they, am I dressed okay? We fill our minds with all these things that just take away from the love. And we know scientifically, they've done tests on this, and they said to open your heart and to love as fully as possible alleviates stress. To love as unconditionally as an individual can alleviate stress and tension. So if we really want to have this beautiful holiday season that is more stress-free, then the greatest gift that we can give anybody is love. That's the greatest gift. Ed's famous quote, and something many of his students have come back to me and said, Ed said this to me and he said, the only thing people need from you is for you to be kind. So just be kind and forget the rest. That's the only thing they need. So now here, the only thing people need from you is for you to be kind. So just be kind. And be kind based in love. You know? There was this chain of messages going through Facebook yesterday. I don't know if it was one of those Facebook things that you share but didn't really happen, or if they really happened. I'm not sure. But person after person after person kept saying, the person in front of me bought my coffee for me in the drive-thru. And I saw this like 5 times in a row. So either this one person was a serial coffee buyer, or it was a wave of kindness.
From what I understand, it was true. I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago at a Starbucks somewhere in the country, somebody did that, and from what I understand, it continued for like 3 hours.
Wow.
Every car in the drive-thru paid it forward, to the next. Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? And there's really no way to say, hey, thank you, other than maybe a wave,
Right.
But so that person does that thing and then they're gone. How wonderful is that? Just kind of a random act of kindness. Such a great, great thought. And a great, great practice. So a newborn king to see, a newborn love, a newborn kindness, a newborn freedom, a newborn unity, a newborn healing. So when we show up in our life, that's what we're guaranteed. And we can call that Jesus Christ or Shiva or Muhammad or whatever word, Durga. We can call it whatever word we want to call it. We can call it whatever name suits us. But the reality is, there is no Christ without love. There is no Shiva without love. There is no Durga without love. The essence of every name is love. So when we are aware in a loving presence, then we are embodying the reflection of that which we have faith in. But when we show up on these days, and particularly every day, but, the holy days, when we show up other than love, then we're not showing up as a reflection of that which we have faith in. Even if our faith doesn't have a religious name associated with it, and it's more nature, or just oneness, just the cosmic consciousness that's formless, that has all this unconditional spaciousness to it. If we really wish to emulate that, then we need to do so. We need to walk the walk, talk the talk. But don't stop at talking. You gotta be it, Our finest gifts we bring to lay before the King. And so, the three kings brought the myrrh, the frankincense, but you don't have to bring anything. The finest gift that the little drummer boy brought, the finest gift that this devotee of Shiva brought, was whatever came from their heart, the heart of the matter, a song. a sound, a vibration. See, in yoga, the voice is called Vak. Vak is another name of the divine goddess. Every word that we say is the manifestation of the divine goddess through vibration. So when we chant, when we speak, when we breathe, when we whisper, it's all Vak. It's all the goddess of sound, the goddess of vibration. So there's nothing more profound than giving the gift of divinity. The easiest way to give that gift is to speak it. I love you. Chant together. Read together. Converse in lovingness together. And allow that vibration to lift you higher, out of stress, out of tension, and into a place of peace, into a place of unity and oneness. It's amazing to me always how much in common all these traditions have. Simple little things, but they're all overlooked, you know? They have a tendency to really be overlooked. And here we have in the Christian tradition the little drummer boy who brings the drum, you know? There's a primal sound. And he brings the drum and he plays the drum, which is a primal act. And here we have this devotee of Shiva in the yoga tradition. And all he has is his voice. How much more primal can you get than that? You know? And so he starts chanting the alphabet. And it's the only thing he knows. And here, both of them, through the quality of vibration, bring themselves closer to that which they love and to that which they have faith in. And the result of that is that they receive gifts and boons. Boon is a gift or a benefit that they never even dreamed of. You know, they never even dreamed it was possible. But it came to them just like it can come to us. We say, oh my God, the holidays are coming. Here comes the stress. Everybody says that, you know it. Here comes the stress. Here comes the tension. And we can't imagine a holiday free of tension. But that's because that's the vibration we're putting out. We're putting the vibration out of anxiety, of fear, of anger, of whatever, you know, it happens to be for us. Trepidation, disappointment, sadness, whatever it is. Start putting the vibration out of love. Start putting the vibration out of gratitude, of appreciation, of joy, of presence, of showing up. Go work in a soup kitchen. Feed the hungry. All the great teachers, no matter what tradition they have come from, have all said the same thing. Feed the hungry. That's the greatest possible service. Feed them. Well, I know there's at least 20, 25 shelters around here, probably understaffed for the holidays. They'll have frozen turkeys out the wahoo, but they won't have a lot of hands to serve them. You know? Our service does not stop at dropping off the grocery bag. Something's got to happen to get the grocery bag to where it's got to be. So feed them. When my son was young, I took him one Christmas to go serve in a soup kitchen. And it was, according to him, one of the most profound things he ever experienced. He was a little kid. He was like maybe 9 years old at the time, 7 years old, somewhere around there. And he was like, wow. You know, and he met so many kids who had such a hard life. And he met so many adults who were so kind. And he saw that communities can come together and make a difference. And he learned about the King, which is love. You know, he showed up. And that's the way to honor. To bring the finest gift you can bring which is not a material gift. It is the essence of yourself, the essence of your love. And that's the only way to honor. Because otherwise there'll always be a comparison. There'll always be a comparison in the wrapping paper, the bow, the tape that was used, and whatever's hidden within. You know? We used to tease our kids when they were younger. And we would put box inside a box inside a box inside a box. And each box would be wrapped. And then when my son was young, he had a habit of peeking on Christmas Eve. So he'd go down there after everybody was sleeping, and he'd open them all up, and then he'd try to put them back together again. Now you know that didn't go well. He never, we walked down there, and it's like, okay, Jay was down here. So one year, we were very pristine about the way that we wrapped. And I mean, I don't even know how long this took us, but we made sure all the edges were so hidden that there's no way that he could get them open without like obvious, tampering with. He was so frustrated. But it was so fun because, we laughed a lot about it and he laughed a lot about it. And he did open one of them, very obviously, and then just left it under the tree. But all these thoughts, like what's in that box? I gotta have what's in that box. But that box cannot be more important than you are. And that box cannot be more important than what their heart has. And as long as we don't lose sight of that, then the gift is a gift. But when we lose sight of it, the stress sets in. And then we think that gift isn't good enough. Or it's too much. My iPad keeps closing down. Little baby, I am a poor boy too. I have no gift to bring that's fit to give our king. Shall I play for you on my drum? And when you think about it, to give a physical gift, like a wrapped up box with something in it, could that ever say how much you love someone? Could that ever say how much you appreciate, how much you care? Could it ever say it? Ed and I had a practice. We got each other little gifts here and there, but all the time, And we decided early on that every day was a holy day. And we were going to give ourselves the gift of being kind to each other. The gift of being present with each other. Maybe go out to a movie, But that our time together was the gift. And that really made holidays much less stressful. Because we were just really able to be together, And just appreciate the moment for what it was and what it is. And then, of course, we'd get each other a little something every now and then. But it was always a surprise. It was never expected. Early in the days, it was expected. I'll just say that honestly. Early on, it was expected. And I just can look and see the difference that early in our relationship, when things were expected, what do you mean you didn't remember my birthday? I would always end up in something. Some kind of squabble, some disappointment, some I guess you mustn't care if you didn't remember my birthday. We got married on October 1st, and my birthday's October 9th, and you always get them backwards. And, and then we got to this point where, I don't know, maybe we were married for like 6 or 7 years, and we sat down and we just had this really great conversation. In yoga, there's a tradition that when it's your birthday, you don't receive anything. You don't receive, you give. Yeah, it's a beautiful tradition. You give smiles, you give hugs, you give service. You give, you serve others on your birthday. That's the celebration of your life, is to be of service to others. And so we had this really great conversation, like I said, around 5-6 years into our relationship. And we just said, yeah, let's go that route. It's just so much easier, so much more easeful. It's not a matter of not like being too lazy to go to the store or something like that. It's like, I don't want to go to the store. I'd rather have this time and not have these artificial things imposing themselves on our time. And from then on, we never had expectation. But there were always little surprises. And they're beautiful surprises. So in this holiday season, now you've got to tell them what you're doing, because otherwise they'll be like, you didn't go and get me something. But try it with one person who's close to you. Maybe just ask them, say, can we spend special time together this year as our gift to one another? On Christmas morning, can we get up and go for a walk around the lake? Or can we sit out and stargaze on Christmas Eve? Can we do something together that costs no money? And can that be our gift to each other this year? No money. It doesn't cost anything, so no concerts or anything like that. Just something in nature. And just see how that feels. See how that feels and how the signature that it leaves on you, the essence that it provides for you. Just the simplicity of it is so healing. And that's the key of the little drummer boy, is it's the simplicity that has the deepest meaning, not the complexity. We don't have to be all fancy. We just have to show up. Some other things that we can think of during this holiday season are to make sure that you're taking enough time to get enough rest. We are having a dinner party for 24 people, and you're getting all the cooking done, and you're planning and doing this and doing that and doing this. And really, it's a beautiful thing to do is to have all those people over and to have that beautiful community time. But if you're not mindful, it ramps you up into a place of high-level stress. And then it's very difficult to experience joy in the time that you spend together. So instead of feeling like we have to be the ones to do it all, why not have a potluck? Why not invite everyone to be involved? Have it be a truly communal experience where it's not just you doing everything. Everybody has the opportunity. And then celebrate everybody's contribution. Celebrate the amazingness that comes forward from each person. Even the person who can't afford to bring something. Even the person who forgets to bring a dish. You know what they did bring? Themselves. And for the people who can't show up because of family issues or other, obligations, whatever it may be, celebrate them too. Because I think one of the hardest things for people is to show up for a celebration of any kind when they know in their heart of hearts that they're not really welcome there. That's a lot of suffering for a person to have to go through. I think pretty much everybody has someone in their family who's like that, right? They're kind of like the black sheep of the family. And they might not really be so welcome. Everybody just kind of tolerates them, Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being the person who's being tolerated? People waiting for the first slip up. Allow yourself to fall deeply in love with that person, because you already are. And have great compassion for them, great empathy for what they're going through, and be kind to them. And let them know that they're welcome. If they choose to come, all they got to bring is their heart song. That's all that's required of anybody. Just come and bring the song of your heart with you. And then allow the holy days to be what they're meant to be, which is actually a time of healing. There's no amount of materialism that's going to heal anything. The heart song is what will heal us. So to minimize the stress of the holidays, allow the holidays to become a heart song. Allow them to become the manifestation of the peace that you truly, truly seek in this life. The unity that you're truly looking for in this life. So what do you think? What is the most challenging part of the holiday for you as far as stress goes? What is the easiest part of the holiday for you? Are you a person who looks forward to it getting here but can't wait for it to be over? Are you a person who dreads it coming, and then when it gets here, you're so sad when it's done? Are you the kind of person who's indifferent? Are you tired at the end of all of it? If there's anything other than balance moving through these days, if there's anything other than a simple joy, then something is awry. And you just need to look and make adjustments. Like Swami Shivananda would say, adapt, adjust, and accommodate. So that the simple joy is always present. You have grandchildren? Invite them to make Christmas cookies. That's their gift. You know? If you have children, invite them to come over for a game of Scrabble. Or a walk in the woods. You have neighbors and a community, have a potluck and sing songs. Sing the name, whatever name you choose, but sing it loudly so that your heart grows a few dimensions. And just be with that. Just be with that. So questions or thoughts on your part? No? Are you all going to have a simple holiday? Yes. Yeah. Every Christmas song is about that, you know. Just listen to them. White Christmas, Silent Night, you know, Oh Christmas Tree. Every single Christmas song, even Frosty the Snowman. Yeah. Even Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. There's not a Christmas song that exists, or a holiday song, or a holy day song that exists, that is not about love and unity and joy. There's no Christmas song out there that says, hey you, it's Christmas time, be stressed out. Hey you, it's Christmas time, get pissed. Hey you, it's Christmas time, be unhappy. You know, I mean, there's no song out there that's like that. Every holiday song, every holy day song is about joy. Simple joy. There's none out there that want you to be aggravated and stressed out. So why is that the route we go? Are we not learning? Songs are a lesson. They are an education. If we listen to them. There's a beautiful author. Her name is Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Anybody hear of her? She wrote Women Who Run with the Wolves. Has anybody heard of that book? Oh, men too. It's a great book. It's called the Bible for Feminism. However, she's a storyteller. Her name is Clarissa Pinkola Estes. And she is an amazing anthropologist and storyteller. And in Women Who Run with the Wolves, she explores through cultural storytelling the place of women in different societies and communities and the psychology of the feminine. She's got many books about it, but that particular one, just an amazing, amazing read about how women are defined. And I wish somebody would do that for men. I really do. I wish she would turn around and do the male side of it too, and the stories, the cultural stories. But she's amazing, and her ability to tell these stories is absolutely amazing too. And I forget where I was going with that. Oh, well. But apparently I was supposed to mention her, so get that book. Yeah. What was I saying right before that? What brought me to that? Do you remember? No?
The Christmas songs are all about...
Oh, because they're all about lessons. Yeah, absolutely. They're all about, thank you, Cal. They're all about lessons. And, and she does a really wonderful job about defining that lesson for us. And she really, in reading her work, she's a really well-known anthropologist, in reading her work, came to realize that everything that we repeat, Christmas songs, Easter songs, they all have lessons in them if we're willing to truly read between the lines and listen to what's being shared, And the little drummer boy is the penultimate lesson for the holidays. Because the little drummer boy who ends up providing the most profound gift, provided nothing more than himself. And that's so profound, I have goosebumps right now. But that's the only thing that he offered, was everything he had here. So as you're planning for your holidays, and you're talking to people about how you're going to get together and celebrate, just maybe talk about the little drummer boy. Share that with them and ask them. Say, what lesson do you read in this little song? How do you read this? How can we together celebrate the heart of a little drummer boy and thereby celebrate our own hearts as well? Yeah. Kel?
I actually have one comment and then one question. The comment is, I remember, I can't believe you picked that song. I don't know what age I was, but I was very, very young. It was the first time I watched on TV The Little Drummer Boy. It had such a profound impact on me. I have no idea why, but something spoke to me. My question is, I do pet sitting, and a few of my clients, they mean well. They give me things, and I'm not one for getting more things. And while driving here, I listened to the 48th verse of the Tao Te Ching, and it talks about decreasing. And sometimes I will receive extra money, that's because that goes straight to my sanctuary. So do I just allow people to give what they want, or do I somehow nicely explain that it would mean so much more to me if it would be something that I can use for the cats versus a thermos bottle or a new belt or whatever. So
yeah. Absolutely. And because you provide a service that there's going to be some type of a gratuity around the holidays. And so it's not unreasonable for you ahead of time to send them a little holiday note. Say, as we enter into the holiday season, I just want to take this moment to say how grateful I am for you and how grateful I am to be able to be of service to you. Thank you for, utilizing my services this year. And with no presumption whatsoever and no requirement whatsoever, I make the following request, humbly. And humbly is really important. If you're so called to provide any type of gratuity this holiday season, I would ask that you do it in the following way. And then give them the information for the sanctuary. And say, while I appreciate the material gifts, my heart is truly called to the service of these animals. And by supporting them, you're supporting me. And you're not making any assumptions.
Right.
But you know that most of them are going to give you something. So it's either, the donation or a platter of cookies.
Which I can't eat.
Yeah. Gluten-free and vegan. Yeah. Yeah. But in that way, you're telling them, you're being very straightforward with them in a kind, compassionate way, and letting them know how much you really, truly, deeply appreciate them. And clarity is something that we can all be around the holidays. People say, what do you want for Christmas? I don't know. Whatever you get is fine. In the back of your head, you're saying, don't buy me underwear. Don't get me socks, So instead, have an answer. Have a clear answer. And when someone says, what do you want for Christmas this year? Have an answer. Well, I've really been thinking that there's this amazing drawing pencil kit that I saw, and I wouldn't mind a gift certificate to get that. If, in fact, that's the appropriate thing to say. Or, what I'd really like is for donations to be made in the name of somebody. It could be you, or it could be a deceased loved one. To this shelter, to this organization. That's what I would really love this year. And then for us to get together for a cup of hot chocolate. So this is what the drummer boy is. This is what it's saying. It's saying, be clear about how to arrive. Be clear about, come now. Come now, know your heart song. And offer that. It's beautiful. And it's simple. It's so simple. It really is. Did you want to say something, Jeffrey?
I did.
Yeah.
I love the song that you spontaneously made up. It's the holiday, Easter stuff. I think that is incredibly powerful and helpful for many people. It's naming the elephant in the room, which then everybody can rely on. We so much are running the tape of, I shouldn't be this way, right? I don't.
Yeah.
And the laughter kind of breaks the state, and I think would feel harder and a calmer for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's
Thank you.
I love spontaneous songs. Yeah, I work a lot with mental health organizations, and I did an in-service around the holidays too, actually. I worked for a mental health organization in New Jersey that did casework for children who were who had at-risk behaviors or who were in at-risk families. And this organization was a private organization, and they worked in partnership with another much smaller organization and with another much larger organization that used to be called DIFUS. I don't know what they're called anymore. It's like Division of Family Services or something, which is, the governmental organization. And there's so much infighting. It's like struggle, 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 because everybody has their priorities. And those priorities will often clash. And the one who suffers as a result of that is the client, the one who needs the service. So they asked if I could come in and do this in-service, and so I did. And I called the in-service Getting to Know You. And the first thing that I had them do was stand up, and we all sang, getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Because the problem stems from the fact that nobody understood what the other person was going through. That this person over here has this monthly numbers they got to meet. And this person over here is looking at this part of the problem. And that person over there is looking at that part of the problem. And if there was more inter-office communication and interagency communication, then they would understand each other better and therefore be better equipped to support the client. And they had such a blast that we were making up all kinds of songs. That one, of course, is a true song, but we were making up all other kinds of songs too. And really, that's the song of the heart. That's to touch people, sing together. In yoga, and in the bhakti yoga, mantra is everything. That's the song of the heart. There's nothing more that needs to be said. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Om Shri Durgaye Namaha. God the Father, Mary the Mother. That's it. That's all that you got to sing. Because that is everything. And it's you as well. It's the light inside of you. That's all you got to offer. But again, we forget that. And we say to ourselves, oh, well, my light's not good enough, so I got to accompany it with a box of Godiva. But the reality is they don't need the box of Godiva, you know? They only need to be with you. That's all. And you only need to be with them. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd like to reaffirm something that we all know, but I'd like to voice it again. That's the truth. Showing up and sharing the love, or whatever you authentically are feeling at the time.
Mm.
And we often find it so difficult to do because of the fears that we're carrying, or the messages that are going, and right here in this room at this moment, it's very easy to be authentic. There's agreement. Well, what do I say to my sister, or my brother-in-law, or my parent, or can I really shine through with what I really want? So it all comes up, and as you know, that's where the community, it's where the yoga and the chanting and the reconnecting to that heartbeat breaks that chain and gives us more of the connection we need to bring it forth.
Agreed. And so it is a good idea to have open communication about it. And to say, can we all agree this Christmas that we won't buy each other anything? That instead, we'll spend time together. Or, there's nothing wrong with gifts. Everybody loves gifts. I love gifts too. But that's not the priority. And so you get them on board first. Yeah, because it could be slightly, it could cause them a little bit of stress if you just show up on Christmas with that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh yeah, here, I'm the gift this year. Yeah. And so you might want to talk a little bit ahead of time. But yeah, Jeffrey, I hear exactly what you're saying, and it's just so true. And I love your shirt, by the way.
I like that too.
Yeah. Kind of want to know where you got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did several years ago, the first holiday season after Lori's death, I just left my brother. It wasn't easy, but I left my brother, my niece, my nephew know. I don't feel it this year, and going forward, I may not for quite some time. So until you hear differently, I'm not partaking in Christmas. So they'll still text me Merry Christmas, which is great, but they still do whatever they do. But I don't buy gifts. They don't buy me gifts, and I'm very stress-free holiday season.
Yeah. And do you get to see each other?
Not on that day.
Yeah, but around that time.
Yeah, but my brother and I just had dinner together 2 nights ago, and it's difficult, but because I know it's difficult for him, because in our family we didn't really hug. But as we were leaving, I went over, I gave him a hug, and it's kind of stiff, but it's it was there. So.
Just keep hugging.
Yeah, right.
He'll soften eventually. Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. I'm glad that you gave him a hug. He needs that.
Yes.
Yeah. We all need that.
Yes.
We all need that, absolutely. So I thank you all for being here this morning. And I hope you have the happiest of holy days, every day. But since we're focusing on this particular time of the year, I was very taken when I went to India. India, there's 3 distinct communities. There's hundreds of cultural influences and religious and spiritual influences there, but there are 3 dominant ones. There's Christian, Muslim, and Hindu. And I would often laugh because you automatically knew where you were. If you were in the Hindu area, everything was painted bright like a circus. Seriously. Even the garbage trucks were polka dotted with neon orange, yellow, and green. The animals were painted like, they have oms on the elephants and, Sanskrit mantras written on the, of course, henna, so no harm done. But so you knew when you were in the Hindu section. You knew when you came into a Christian area because it was very much kind of like here. There, it was colorful, but not like the Hindu communities. And then, when you went into the Muslim areas, it was very much earth tone. So you knew when you moved into an area that was predominantly Muslim because everything was kind of browns and grays and those earthy tones, nothing loud. There's an area in South India where these communities all butt up to each other. And in order to minimize the amount of conflict in the area, because in India there's some significant conflict between communities in some parts. In order to minimize, they thought, well, it's best to know about each other. So every major holiday, Christmas comes up, the Christians make their celebration, make lots of traditional foods and whatnot, and go over to the Hindus and the Muslims, or they invite them in, and they share. They share food. They make the most amazing meals together, and they explain to them what the holiday is about. And the Hindus do the same thing for like Shivaratri and Krishna's Jayanti, and then the Muslims do the same thing for their holidays, and they celebrate together. They don't see it as, oh my God, that's your religion. They see it as an opportunity to come together and to celebrate all that's good and the same about each other. Can you imagine if we all did that? If everybody did that? You have a neighbor who's Jewish on one side, a Muslim on the other side, a person in the back who's a pagan, a person across the street who's an atheist, and just all come together and learn about each other. What a gift that would be, Have spiritual block parties. Hey, wait, that's a good idea.
I actually have that where next door is Hindu. He's part of the Bhakti group that's in the fall celebrations here. Across the street from him, the guy's Muslim. And they really like me because I've been open the whole time. I'll converse about, I'll ask them questions. So, and I think the people in the house we live in, I think the people preceding us didn't have that type of interaction. I think it was a different vibe. And the other thing I want to note is that, uniquely enough, Reading area has a lot of interfaith consciousness. It's incredible that, well, at a first glance, all the stereotypically Berks County and Reading, and you would never think, and we're ahead of the curve, thankfully, on that.
More than you know.
Through Albernia and the clergy, there's a strong bond with the wide variety of,
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that in an instant will pick up the phone and rally for each other and do these type of things.
It's amazing. When we first made the announcement that we were coming out here, that we were moving out here, a lot of people that we knew in New Jersey said, Reading, Pennsylvania? Do they even practice yoga there? And I was like, okay. But I'll be honest with you, New Jersey could learn a little something. Because here, you're absolutely correct, Jeb. Like, what I have seen here, as far as different traditions coming together, I had the wonderful honor to speak recently at Spirit on Tap, which is a community of diverse spiritual religious practitioners, and just interested individuals as well. And I've actually I spoke at Spirit on Tap, and then with Dr. Serio spoke at another event as well. And just the openness to talk about it and to kind of reflect on where certain ideas and perspectives sit in their own tradition or in their own hearts, and being open to that conversation. And it's not without heat. There could be a little bit of heated conversation there, but it's okay, because at the end of it all, it resolves itself out, and we just come to a deeper knowing of each other, and a deeper understanding of maybe why we walk the path the way we walk the path. And I have to say, I never experienced that in New Jersey, and I lived there for most of my life. I never experienced an integrated council like that over there, I'm not saying they don't exist, but they're not obvious. Here, they're obvious. Here, it's... The woman down the street is a Reiki master, and there's another woman down the street who's a Buddhist. There's another person around the corner who was going to become a Buddhist Lama, I think. Just the people right here. And when we came here, even the attorney that we worked with, who's more like from the Phoenixville area, he was like, "You're not going to be welcome there." And I said, "Oh, sure we will. Maybe not at first, maybe at first, who knows? But eventually, And I'm not saying we didn't have some resistance. Yes, we did. We actually had quite a bit of resistance initially. People don't know what an ashram is generally, and they had a negative experience with the organization that was in this school prior to our coming, and on some level, I think they thought we were them, trying to come back again. But even them, they watched us for 2 years, 3 years, and then they started inviting us to their barbecues. They're like, "We like what you're doing." They're so funny. Particularly one neighbor, he said, "We like what you're doing. We see you're doing pretty good, and you're quiet. We're having a barbecue. Come over." I said, "When is it?" And he goes, "Well, I know you don't eat none of that meat," he said, "but you can bring your own." I said, "Okay, fine." But hey, that's beautiful, don't you think? That's like leaps and bounds, breaking down the wall of fear, breaking down the resistance, breaking down the stress, and saying, "Hey, this is what the heart song is." And if you can tune into the heart song, you'll see there's nothing to be afraid of. What more can we ask for? Yeah, what more can we ask for? So I hope you all stay. Dr. Jeff will be having an event at noon.
SRI, Self-Connection.
Yeah, you may see me there. Yeah, absolutely. And we have lots of other things happening. They're going to be serving some food shortly. There's going to be some vendors around for some make and take gifts also. I think Aslan is heading up some make and take fun. So simple little handmade gifts. And there's a concert at 3:30 with John Terlazzo and the Voices in the Hall. And if you've never seen John, he's amazing. First time I saw him, I was totally blown away by his talent. He's just such a talented musician and such a talented storyteller. So that would be something. And all throughout the day, family yoga is in here next, and there's chair massage and Bhagavad Gita study with Dilip. And so I'm sure you all got your schedules from the front desk. So I hope you stay and enjoy the day. Yeah. So let's sit nice and tall and close the eyes. Come, they told me, a newborn king to see. Our finest gifts we bring to lay before the king, so to honor him. Little baby, I'm a poor boy too. I have no gift to bring that's fit to give a king. Shall I play for you on my drum? Mary nodded. The ox and lamb kept time. I played my drum for him. I played my best for him. And then he smiled at me. Drawing the hands together in front of our hearts. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. May all beings everywhere find peace, love, light, and happiness. May all beings know their oneness. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you all so much for being here. Happy holy days, today and every day. Thank you. Enjoy. Good to see you.